Hello listeners, this is Kazuki Akiba. For a long time, I've been working in the entertainment industry, both as a content creator and business professional. As I produce more and more content engaged with a number of different platforms, I realize that fresh voices are not reflected enough. We're mired by cliches and adaptations that oftentimes play it safe. In 2016, I began to work on an idea for a documentary series called Meal Ticket, focused on immigrant chefs in New York City. As we dove into the stories of these individuals, I gained new perspective on struggle and ways people overcome adversity. Each deserves a story. Living in New York City, there are over 11 million unique stories and voices out there, and I wanted to shed a spotlight on stories that have never been heard. And that's why I'm launching the show called Stories for You. Stories for You focuses on unique, underrepresented voices from various industries that need to be heard. Focusing on these professionals shows more than one way to find success, and everyone has their own journey. We're going to release 10 episodes ranging from artists to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in their fields. Join us each week as we follow the individual's journey from where they began, where they went, and where they are now. You're now listening to the first episode of Stories for You. For this week's guest, we're excited to introduce Piera Van De Wiel, who is an international recording artist, actress, and entrepreneur from the UK. We'll dive into her life story and learn about her inspirations and pursuit of her artistic endeavors. Inside a yogurt, there's a random bacteria and stuff that kind of eats it for you.
Why are we talking about lactobacillus?
Yeah, I think that was a name, and it's because our whole stomach is very acidic. So, if you have a little bit more acidic stuff,
I hope this goes into the podcast.
Pierre and I took a class together back at our alma mater, NYU, and it was for a producing for TV course focused on pitching different pilots to executives from different networks. We had some late night sessions on different producing projects, and eventually everything came in full circle as we both produced for mutual friends. Despite knowing her for 2-3 years, I didn't really know much about her origin and why she got inspired to become a singer-songwriter and be in the entertainment business.
I grew up in England on a farm, actually, funnily enough, and singing and music first came into my life when we had a foreign exchange student from Italy come and stay with us. She was also looking after me, which was really lovely when I was very, very small, about 3 years old. And she would teach me these beautiful Italian songs. And then, according to my mum and dad, I don't actually remember this, but we were on a boat and I would just stand up. Oh my God. I would stand up on the seat or wherever I was, apparently, and just start singing in Italian. And everyone was like, oh, interesting, because everyone was British and kind of like, what is she doing? As I'm just singing in Italian, which was really fun. And apparently I also did that on a plane. So singing came kind of early for me. I want to say to do with Paola, who was the exchange student. She definitely introduced me. And from then on, I started having singing lessons with my mum's best friend, Debbie. She is an opera singer. So then from the age of 8, I started my singing lessons, etc., and sort of fell in love. And I was then part of this lovely choir in the Cotswolds, which is surrounded by fields and cows, but I was still in a choir. And we cut a CD, and I was 8. And I just remember, seeing the conductor, and I think it was about 45 of us. And I just thought, wow, music is so powerful. And I was 8, and I just knew that I had to keep singing in my life.
So she fell in love. Many of us can pinpoint the exact moment where we found the urge to pursue the dream we want to do for the rest of our life.
So then from singing competitions, etc., it just sort of kept progressing. And really acting didn't come into my life until later, until I was 17, actually.
Wow, that's fairly recent, 6-7 years at this point?
I mean, yes, I'm 24, so I was cast in Cabaret. So I was playing Sally Bowles, who was a wonderful, wonderful character. And I discovered I could sing, and I knew I could sing, but I could also act and tell a story and be part of a group of amazing people and be with cast members, etc. And I just thought, wow, I can tell this incredible story, and also dance too. My dancing's okay. It's fine. It's definitely better now, I think. But so I was performing this in Switzerland.
So you've been all over like Europe, basically, was all your performances since you started singing around 8. So you were like doing a lot of
Started
lessons
in
with
England,
Stebby,
exactly.
and just like got to know more. Like, did you like travel everywhere in Europe, like France, Italy?
Well, I was
Switzerland?
actually traveling because I was a ski racer.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So I was ski racing and I was also singing. So from the time when I started doing cabaret, I remember after performance, this woman came up to me, who's now a very good friend of mine, and she said, I think you should apply to the Tisch School of the Arts. And all I said was, what's that? No idea. Absolutely no idea. I didn't know what it was at all. Because originally my plan is that I wanted to study opera in London. I wanted to go to the Royal College of Music, the Royal Academy of Music, and I had done some classes and training there. And I thought, okay, this is what I want to do. But after she said that, I started looking into, this Tisch. I was like, what is it? Is it something that's going to suit me? And I started looking into it and I fell in love. I decided, okay, that is the only place I'm going to apply.
Wow, just one school.
Yes.
At the time, you also had skiing, so how did you like balance that out, both skiing and being a performer? You had both passions,
Well, skiing
obviously.
is performing.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically throwing yourself down a race piste, and it's really based on your performance. And if you have, one run and you're coming in second, you just push yourself onto the next thing. And I think it's given me the endurance and the strength to persist in my career and to also hustle as well.
How were you able to manage those times? Because those are big, heavy commitments. Like performing is like a huge, like
Oh,
long.
no, absolutely. But at the time I was still in school. So I was in Switzerland and I was able to train, etc. But I did after at one of the championship races, I did have a wee bit of a crash. When I say a wee bit of a crash, it did take me out. Really from then, my shift fully went to performing. But I love skiing. Like I will still throw myself down a mountain. I love adrenaline. So I'm like, yes, bring me on top of my mountain. Like that's great.
Would you go like once in a while, or like is it more like a hobby now for you? Like do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When was the last time you went?
The last time I went skiing, March? This March.
Okay, that's fairly recent.
Yes. It was lovely.
In the States or?
No, I was back. I went to France, went to the French Alps. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was, and the snow. I love the snow. When I'm on top of a mountain, I feel very powerful. I feel like I can conquer anything because you're just standing on the top of a mountain and all you can do is go straight down. You've no choice. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to take my skis off and just like try and go, I don't know, get yourself down the mountain somehow. You just have to push your poles and just off you go. And I love that. I love that fact you go super fast. Well, I go very fast. You got wind rushing in your hair. It's fantastic. I love it.
That's the part of you that kind of taught you to be more bold and fearless and what kind of decisions you
It
made.
absolutely did. It taught me, as I said, about endurance, my own strength. And I'm really using that in my career as an actor and a singer and also as a producer and entrepreneur. Like I'm using the skills that I learned as an athlete and really in London. I mean, before I came out to New York, I had done this beautiful production at the Rose Theatre in Kingston called Cork Shack, directed by Nick Stimpson, who's an incredible director. And it was a story, it's about this man, Dr. Janusz Korczak, and he took in orphans in Poland, in Warsaw, during World War II. And it's a musical, and it was just very beautiful and empowering. And I met some incredible people, including like Holocaust survivors, etc. And the cast, we all got very, very close. And that's the first time I was introduced to like reviews and press nights, etc. And I just thought, okay, like what an incredible experience I'm having here in England. And I was just so excited of what could come next in New York. Because it's New York City. I was like, okay, let's bring on something, another adventure. So I was very excited when I came here and I didn't really know what to expect. And Tisch was incredible. It really was. It exceeded my expectations.
We delve more into your school career. Making a bold move to an unknown place is something not many people can do. And on top of that, being able to accomplish so much in school is also hard. but what interested me the most was her time working as the co-director of Fusion Film Festival, which fueled a critical pivot in what she wanted to pursue.
I began at Fusion Film Festival and I was there for 3 years, and I became the co-head of alumni relations. And Fusion Film Festival it celebrates women in TV, film, and media. And then I became the co-director, and I met some incredible filmmakers, including I have to say a highlight for sure was giving the Woman of the Year award to Melina Matsoukas. And for those who don't know who Melina Matsoukas is Melina Matsoukas is the director of Beyonce's music video Lemonade. And she was our Woman of the Year back in 2017. And I got the privilege of giving her award, and it was pretty amazing. And I got to meet some really incredible people, work with NBC, HBO, etc. But really, Fusion is it's about the team. There are so many members and everyone works together to get it done. And it's female-led, which is really, I love that it's female-led.
So would you say like Fusion was more like the introduction towards the on-screen, like film and TV,
Oh, absolutely.
like world for you?
Absolutely, because I was at the Tisch. I was studying at the Atlantic Acting School founded by David Mamet. It was very, very theatre-based. I got to do some really great shows. Neighborhood 2, where I played this punk rock, well, not really rock, punk teenager who was very aggressive, but it was a lot of fun to play, including like chokers with like spikes. It was pretty intense. It was pretty fun. And then in Romeo and Juliet, and then House of Bernarda Alba, working with the incredible director Lauren Keating, Katie Lindsay. She's an amazing director. And then Fusion it introduced me to doing short films, also thinking about making my own content. It definitely shifted my perspective, which was really lovely.
So would you say that like was like a start for you to start creating your own like type of piece in like work, collaboration, online content type media?
Yeah,
or?
Absolutely. Because I was just surrounded by these incredible women who we were all like lifting each other up, whether, we're supporting each other's stories or working on each other's sets. And I just thought, oh, this is amazing. And you don't have to wait around. Like, you can make this content yourself. And currently now I'm writing a short film, which is an LGBTQ period drama. And it's really exciting. I'm really excited. And then once I finish writing it, it's very close to being done. I can't wait to put a team together. I think that's the most exciting thing, is putting a team together and finding the right people who want to support your story and move forward.
Her excitement for producing and creating content led her to even bigger adventures, starting a new media series known as Stronger with Music.
I'm the founder of Stronger with Music and also lead vocalist. And Stronger with Music is an artist collective that empowers women and also promotes mental health and mental wellness. I wanted to start this quite a while ago, but I didn't not have the courage to. That's not right. But I didn't think I was ready. I was like, okay, once I come out of school, I'm going to start this artist collective, and then I can really move forward with that. But if I was going to give anyone any advice, is start it when you have that sort of gut feeling. Go with your gut and just begin something. But now I have, and I'm absolutely loving it. So at the moment it's a music media series on Like a Boss Girls. And you asked me about Like a Boss Girls. It's a news and media site, and I'm also a contributor for it. So I write articles for them, which is really lovely. The articles are typically about empowering women or featuring lead women who are having like incredible careers, which is amazing. And currently I'm doing a piece on Barefoot College. And Barefoot College is a non-for-profit organization and empowers women in rural communities in India to be trained as solar engineers. So they go to this college for 6 months and they are trained and they're given the equipment, etc. And they take it back to the village and then they teach the girls about these solar energy skills. So that's something that I'm working on right now with them, which is really wonderful. I love to write, and the fact that so I can write for this site is very empowering, feels really lovely. So yes, Strong with Music is also on their site. We've released 2 episodes, and now I'm very excited to tell you about an event that will be happening on January 18th, 2019, and it's going to be a Stronger with Music live event happening at 54 Below.
What will the live event feature besides big musical performances?
It's going to be telling a story and sharing a song, and it's going to be revolved around mental health.
So what kind of made you go into that focus more with Stronger with Music?
Well, it originated from very, very personally to me, is that music as a healer. It can change your energy moods, change your frequency. It's such a powerful tool. So when I was 15, I lost my best friend in a car accident and I sort of spiraled. I was not functioning as I would, and I was just very upset all the time, and I didn't really know who my friends were and didn't really know where I belonged. I mean, I'd lost my best friend and I was very young, and just trying to deal with that was very hard in itself. But music helped me so much. Every day I would just spend hours in the music department, just singing, and with my music teacher and other friends, etc., who were in the music department. And I loved it, the fact that I could sing. And I started writing songs. I actually wrote my very first song when I was 15 called Waltz to Sophie. This has not been released. Who knows if it will be released at a future date. I would love to go back and rework on it and do an official release. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But it just showed me the power of music. And it's always been in my head since I was 15. And I just thought I really want to do an online artist collective where I can share this, where I can share these messages about self-love, power, and worth. You know, if you are feeling down, or you're going through something, an obstacle, or you're just trying to push yourself through, music can help you. Music is there for you. And yeah, I hope you guys can follow it. It's at Stronger with Music on Instagram. So
What's interesting about you is I feel like you have all this like different type of background, starting from the songs, music side to you're going into theater, acting, and now you're on screen, and now you're starting businesses. This multi-talent that interests me, and I kind of want to hear from there, like you're acting, you're like running Stronger with Music, and now you have a record label deal now, right?
yes, I do. So I am signed with Steve Barakat, who's an incredible composer and music producer, and also Abaku Group. So they're in Canada, in Quebec, very beautiful city. You must get to Quebec. And it's really been such a privilege to work with him. He is a very renowned artist. He's currently in Korea, actually, at the moment. He's been so supportive, and I'm so excited for our journey together and what we're going to do next.
Could you tell me more about the press that you've gotten? It's complicated because it's been a huge single. Obviously, it's been on the charts recently, so I just want to hear more about it.
Yeah, so it's complicated. Received press from Broadway World, which was very cool. They also mentioned me as an actor, which was fun. And also from Markets Insider, Yahoo Finance, also in places in Europe, so La Vanguardia, New Delhi Times in India, which is pretty cool, Sina News in China, iFeng News. So it felt pretty global, which was really exciting. I didn't expect to receive all this press from like different places in the world, so it was exciting. It was really, I don't know, made me very happy that people wanted to talk about my single.
I'm just curious, like, how did like Steve actually approach you? Was this did he like just find you one day and be like, hey, like, I want to sign a deal with you, like you're such an amazing talent? Like, how did that like fruition?
We met 4 years ago. He just invited me. He said, oh yes, you're a singer, etc. And I believe I sent him a song of mine that I was singing, not something that I composed, but just a cover that I had sung. And he then invited me to come to Quebec and come to the studio. And I'd been doing that every summer. And then last summer he said, okay, we're going to write a song. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Absolutely. So it was an amazing, I love this collaboration. It was so wonderful. And then It's Complicated came out of that. And I really love the song. It means a lot. And it's my first single, and working with Steve I feel very grateful.
I just want to know more about like what kind of message is behind that, like what kind of thought process is like put into like one's mind to say like how you want to project it, and what's like the message you want to make for these other people who's listening to it.
Okay. Well, It's Complicated, as a lot of people tell me, like, oh, it's clearly about relationships. And I'm like, well, it kind of is. It's about multiple loves that I've had in my life. And what I learned is that love doesn't just come from being dependent on one person or other people. It comes from yourself. So one of my lyrics is, I'm stronger than you. Watch me build and break through. Like you have the power in yourself, self-love, self-worth, and knowing that you can always get through. One of the favorite parts of the song for me is right at the end. I wrote a sort of a chant, which is the time I think instead of do, stand up, shout out what's inside of you. And when I wrote that, I just thought, I can't wait for people to be like chanting this song, like chanting at the end. I want people to chant with me and just be like, yes, like stand up, shout out what's inside of you, what you believe to be true, And I believe in the honest message and being able to empower yourself, which doesn't mean you don't need love from others, because I think that's how everyone can move forward, from the support from family and friends, loved ones, etc. But also knowing that, I'm also relying on myself.
Who were your inspirations, mentors and collaborators that you look up to, and who do you really connect with support? Is it your family more for these, or?
Absolutely. From the start, my parents have been so incredible. They're wonderful. they're literally my very best friends and number one supporters in all that I do, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. Whether it's calling them in the middle of the night and be like, oh my God, this happened. And they're like, that's okay. That's totally fine. Or anything, just having them there. And even though, they're back in England and I'm in New York, I still feel so supported, and I'm very grateful. And they've both taught me such different things. Both of my parents are very good networkers. They love speaking to people, and I've definitely taken that from them. I love meeting new people, making new connections, and moving forward with those connections. I think that's really important. And then my father, he was an entrepreneur, started his own company, etc., and he made it into such a success. And I see that, and I am so inspired. I'm like, okay, yes, I can do the same.
And just go for it.
Yeah, he worked in the car industry, so I'm not going to work in the car industry. I love cars. Entertainment.
Being far away from home, obviously, moving to the States, what has actually changed you, and how do you think you grew out of that? What do you think part of you changed a lot by moving to the States, and what kind of influence do you want to bring in the future?
I'm going to say courage. Have the courage. So if you, for example, you have an idea for something, as you said, it can be any industry, then start by telling a friend. And then once you've told a friend, maybe tell another couple of friends. Just have the courage within yourself that your ideas are worthy and that you can move forward with them, and don't be afraid of them, because once you have told, whether it's a friend or even a family, your mom or your dad, about this idea, that's already, you've begun the motion. So don't be afraid of that. Have courage and take a step forward, because it's down to yourself to make it happen.
If you want to learn more about Piera, please check out her website, event, and social media down below. Also, listen to her new single, It's Complicated, on iTunes, Spotify, and other formats. Coming up in the next episode of Stories for You is an Emmy Award-nominated writer, Cheryl Davis, who's worked on various TV shows and plays. She talks about her experience going from a corporate lawyer to now a writer who also works as an attorney for the Authors Guild.
I saw an ad actually for somebody who was looking for somebody to write lyrics for a musical that I think there was going to be a review, and they were technically calling it, Times Square is seen through the window booth of the Howard Johnsons at 46th and Broadway, which is, God, no longer there, so I feel very old. But so that's when I started writing lyrics for that particular show. The idea is that we were writing songs for characters who then Times Square would be singing. Then that got me into BMI.
That's next on Stories for You. This is a Daylight Interactive production. This week's episode is produced by Ed Lee. Additional dialogue written by Raven, edited by Mike Wilson, sound mixed by Ray Lanuza. Our theme song and music are composed by GrayLaptop. Join us next time on Stories for You as we focus on exciting new voices.